So just a little bit about us. So we are in the process of authorization. So we are in the what's called a candidacy phase for authorization for the PYP. The PYP is it's a well-researched based program, and you can just see some of those statistics there. The IB itself, the diploma program, is 50 years old this year, actually. PYP is a little bit younger, but it's all over the world, and we are heading towards authorization at this school, just like the other school is already authorized. A little bit what Lisa had said here. As you saw from the pictures, and you'll see today, it's all about play and discovery and exploration in the early years. Just a little more about play, because there's often a lot of questions like, well, when are they going to stop playing? Let's get on with it, move on. But play is at the heart of it, and it's important in the early years. It's important for everyone. And there's been a lot of research about that, and I put some links on there if you'd like to look up a little bit more. And that just came out in August. That's the American Association of Pediatrics, just about the importance of play. All right, this is the PYP model. So you might have seen this around, and you've seen it maybe on the blog or if you were here last year. But if you look at it, everything is centered around the learner or the student. And that's what Lisa was mentioning, learner agency. You can see there's different themes around the outside, and you'll see those upstairs. The kids are involved. I think all of the early years are looking at who we are right now, which is one of the themes. It's a broad universal theme, and they're looking into about learning. They're looking into who they are and how they change. You can see that there's all of the subjects. We still have all of the subjects here. It's all organized under a theme, but there is math going on. There is science going on. There's social studies. There's language. There's arts. And all of that is in play in the early years. And all of the IB programs aim towards international mindedness. And that's a big concept, important to our school and important in the IB. And that's what we want our learners to be, is internationally minded. Just a little bit about the PYP. But on to how they plan. So even in the early years, we look at each of the subjects. So here's an example of language. So the teachers and I, and on their own, get together, and we look at what's called scope and sequence documents. And their documents are curriculum documents, and they're put out by the IB. And we use those to help in our planning. So this is just an example. Language, there's 3 strands of language. There's phases that the students move through as they go through their primary years, early in primary. They move at their own pace. Not everybody is in the same place. Lisa was mentioning about reading readiness, and you'll see that in a minute. It really depends where they are. But we plan using these documents, and the documents are quite thorough, and you're welcome to look at them. There are different phases. Here are just a few outcomes for language that understandings for language that we look at. These are some big ideas we'd like the students to look at. And a lot of the early years, especially nursery and JKG, are in phase 1, is what we call it. Under each one, there are outcomes, and these are behaviors, things that they're looking for and that they want to aim for with the students. And you might see these in the classes. You can ask the teachers about them, but they're chosen per unit. And we look at them and think, how can we help the children to, and you saw that in some of those slides, distinguish between symbols and letters, words and numbers. And these are the things that have to happen first before they move on in their learning in language. And it really is a developmental process. So when there were questions about phonics, when are they going to do phonics? Why haven't they begun phonics? If you look at this is phase 1. It's really about getting an idea about print and words and letters and numbers and distinguishing. And then it moves on. And if you look there, you can see where it says understand sound symbol relationship. So after they've moved through phase 1, yes, then they're starting to get into more phonics. But it's all a progression. Just a little more about language. You're welcome to look at that. Every subject is similar. So we look at math in the same way. We look at science in the same way. We look at music with the music teachers. There are phases, there are big ideas, and there are outcomes that we strive for. different strands depending on the, like math has 5. Here's an example. This is just part of one of the scope and sequence documents. So it's quite thorough, and you can look through it. This is for music. You can take a look. And there's a link here, so if you want to look at all of the documents, you're welcome to look at them. They are not going through every single learning outcome in phase 1 in nursery. It's throughout their primary school education, up through grade 5. And there's only 4 phases that they move through, for language, for example. There is assessment. There's different types of assessment. Lisa mentioned formative, it's happening all the time. Summative, to see how far they've grown in those outcomes. You'll hear about assessment in different ways, through learning stories, through Seesaw, through student reflections, reporting twice a year, parent-teacher conferences, which are coming up. A little bit, a learner profile, just look for that when you're in the classes. It's at the heart of all of the IB programs, and the students are getting to know the vocabulary and also getting to know what does that mean and why is it important. These are the different learner profiles, and stress just as equally as academics, it's important that they learn how to be, how to act, all with the goal of international mindedness. So I know that was rushed, but we know we want to get you to the classes. And it was really important to hear about the collaborative learning environments, because first you need the environment and that culture of learning and openness and trust. And for academics and for everything to flourish, we needed that. So we wanted to focus on that first. So just thinking a little bit, this is a visible thinking routine, but just think about if there's anything you used to think maybe before even coming in or before bringing your kids here, and maybe how your thinking has changed a little bit, and just give that some thought. And if you still have questions, we will share this. We do have a Padlet, which is an online, if you just click on the link when we send it to you, please post any questions there. We do have curriculum. We have some inquiry cafes, we call them, coming up. We'll have things on early years and different parent workshops. And we do look at those questions, and we use those to inform how we do those workshops. So please let us know. But we want to get you to your kids. We know they're waiting. We know they're excited to see you, and we want you to have a chance to go up there. So thank you.